Yes, it is recording. Okay, so official welcome, everybody. So we've pretty much done our checking in, and it was nice to get on early a little bit and have a chance to visit, and I found that really fun and refreshing, and it was really good. So let's drop in and do an attunement to kind of shift gears, to get us into the space of receiving the energetic transmission through the information that's going to be coming through. And so aligning ourselves and just dropping once again, allowing your brain to relax and drop down in your head. Feel it relax. And take a breath. And breathe out all the busy, stressy energies of the day. And allow the brain to just relax and kind of go into neutral so that it can receive new information, new energy patterns, and be transformed and renewed. And then just imagine above your head. Imagine above your head your 8th chakra, the soul star. And see that beautiful, pulsating, vibrating orb of information and love. The blueprint of all that you are is contained there. This is your high self. And this is who we are calling in to work with us now, to show us how to play together, how to build this wonderful, delicious relationship with that with which we truly are. This is the true beloved that we seek. And so as you glance above your head to the soul star, notice that the soul star is connected above it in this beautiful line of brilliant light, all the way lost into the effulgence of divine mind, divine presence, source, all that is. And there's a column of light that's coming down to each of us that is our own sort of stream of thought from the one mind, but uniquely attuned to create us, each one of us. So ultimately up there, we are all connected. But we are differentiated here at this level. So as you tune in to that orb of light, your 8th chakra above your crown chakra, reach out to it with curiosity, as if it was a living person without a body, because it is a living being. It just doesn't have a human form. And as you reach out with curiosity to make contact, you might feel the energy of this orb of light and information reaching out to you. Feel it. Feel the sensation tingling at the top of your head, perhaps. Or just imagine it, even if you can't physically feel anything. Just pretend that you can and picture and imagine. And then notice that this being of light, that orb of light is just particles of light and information that contain everything about you. Past, future, present, all dimensions, all realities, parallel universes, more than we realize, more than we can comprehend. We are that. Feel it extending itself as if it's a cloud of these particles of energy and information and light stretching down and cocooning you. You might be able to feel some little tingling on the outside of your arms, your shoulders, your back, as this light energy, the vibration of your very own soul, begins to cocoon you and swaddle you as if you are a newborn infant being wrapped in the softest down. Feel how closely you are held. Feel the enfoldment. Feel the safety of that. Some of us never felt that as babies. And we needed it. We have needed to feel this held and this secure our entire lives. And take a breath and allow yourself to feel the utter, complete safety. And then beyond that, feel as if and imagine that you can even sense the glance, the look of this being, even though it's not in human form, you can sense that it is glancing and looking upon you with eyes of adoration and love, with eyes of complete understanding and acceptance. The being that you truly are, that is keeping you in existence by its attention, adores you. It understands you completely. All the puzzles and questions and uncertainties you have about yourself, all the fears and doubts and fumblings, this one understands and accepts completely. And you might even feel that begin to touch your heart as a palpable sensation. Feel the utter love with which you are literally being saturated right now. Breathe into it and allow it. Allow the vibration of it to saturate every single cell of your body. And feel how good it feels to feel safe. And then allow yourself to relax as if you were an infant, totally relaxed in the arms of its caregiver. Too weak an infant even to hold yourself up. Brand new. And feel the security with which you are held. Feel your body relax even more. Feel your shoulders let go, your neck and your head and your jaw. Your eyes sink into your head, your tongue relax down the throat. Your stomach relax, your hips, your legs, and just feel and receive this. Receive the imprint and the gift of the presence of your own self, your own higher being. And know that this is who you are. And being this, do we dare think any less of ourselves than this? In spite of our fears, weaknesses, and failures, we don't have to be afraid of this parent, of this teacher. Fear does not exist here. There is nothing but safety. There is nothing but complete, unconditional love, understanding, and acceptance. Past, future, present, all realities, all lifetimes, all bodies, mental body, emotional body, physical body, all the layers of the etheric body. It's all right here, right now. And just receive this gift. This will set you up to be more attuned as you go forward and walk your walk and make this the baseline from which you engage with life and yourself. We give such great thanks for this immense, unbelievable visitation and gift. And so now we ask to be taught, to be shown how to walk and talk and be and interact and heal ourselves through our lives. We thank you for the gift of our lives and all that we've learned. And so it is, and so it is. So it is. Thank you. Anybody want to share? You can unmute your own microphone if you have something to share about that. So I will ask, did you feel something? Did you feel the presence? You could listen to that again. It's right at the beginning. So practice that. Practice it. Become attuned to the fact that this is how you are thought of. In spite of the failings of our parenting here, this is how it really is. So we started out, I'm going to start out with just kind of talking about the nature of our higher self, our consciousness, our higher consciousness, our soul. It becomes increasingly difficult to find words to describe the indescribable. But we try, because that stretches us, it stretches the vocabulary, and it starts recontextualizing words we've used before in other ways. And so as we experienced, and as I communicated what I see, what I feel, what I sense, as I speak that out and I feel it myself, our higher self, we've been taught, if we have any religious background, and you don't even need to have had one, that the soul is this sort of mysterious thing out there that the church teaches us we're in constant danger of losing. Which, when you get to a place like this, it's beyond absurd. How can we lose what we are? So the soul that we are working with, the higher consciousness that we are working with, is this perfectly attuned and programmed energy field that contains everything about us. It's like it's like a thumb drive that's got us in it, only multidimensionally, the whole thing beyond which we can't even conceive the immensity of this. And yet there's so many higher vibrations that we are going back into divine mind. But that vibration, there have been people who have tried to go too far out and connect too high up, and it fries their circuitry, and they literally cannot function as human beings in the world. Which maybe was their, obviously it was their path, it was their time. and maybe they brought a vibration into 3D, into this earthly planet, into our reality here, so that we can start attuning to that. But as you become aware with and start meditating, the chakras are like electricity transformers or light frequencies. They get modulated down, down, down until it comes to a place where it is safe for the human organism to interface and interact. In past times, we have not been aware of that. And yet it's always been there, or life wouldn't exist. This is the thought. We are a thought our higher self is having. We are a dream our higher self is dreaming. And if that higher self were to forget about us for a nanosecond, we would cease to have exist ever. There would just be nothing, because it's all here and now. And so we can, by going to this place, and it's convenient for me to use the analogy of this higher chakra. It's like holding it right there. I can feel it sometimes on the top of my head, like a heaviness, a tingling, a pressure that just wants to envelop me and just wash over me. And it's a delicious feeling. And sometimes doing just that when you are in need, when you are struggling, suffering, confused, overworked, all that stuff, sometimes just stop. Take a breath, because this is always there. It's like, okay, it's like taking a shower through your whole body. It's like, okay, whoosh, reset, reattune me, align me. Choosing to align with your higher self when you may be kind of like over here, over there, or just kind of like, whoa, oof, all charged up and like off kilter, like a top that, you know, is spinning and starts falling down. Just pull it through. It's always there. It's always there. So this higher self, the soul star, is perfectly programmed, perfectly attuned, perfectly calibrated to speak your language. Whatever that is. If it's needing to be motivated to go on a diet because you've got hungover the night before, that's your language. It's great. It's perfect. It's everywhere, and it's all there for us. We have this delicious companionship, and the more you play with it, the more it's like tuning up a Bluetooth. You know, maybe there's some static on the line, but it's cleaning up the connection so it's clearer, sharper, finer. And some days you feel more perfectly attuned. You're just so in sync. And other days, you know, it's a bit of a struggle, and you just have to really determine that you're calling this in. So we're choosing to embody this because this is our evolutionary path. This is actually changing the brain, the nervous system, the biology, the DNA of us as human beings. David Hawkins, who I've mentioned before, used to say, we are evolving from Homo sapiens to Homo spiritus. We have an etheric brain that is beginning to come online, that sees more, that comprehends more, that attunes to a greater expanse of incoming, a greater bandwidth to connect to higher understanding, higher learning. It's much more streamlined. We are advancing, and I love how technology is almost like the universe giving us a shadow picture. the way technology has evolved with all this stuff that I have no idea about. All this cloud stuff. What is the cloud? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? But it's just there. It's things that are there. We are being brought to where we are the technology. We are the technology of God. We are that. And so bringing it in the way we did, you don't have to do it as formally unless you just need it that day. You can bring it through in a second because your partner is always there, always looking out for you. Sometimes you'll get a little nudge. You need me right now. You need a hug. And you breathe that vibration into your body. You breathe it into your heart. And you know you're not alone. This is what we're being taught. And part of why we've looked at other things on how to calm the brain and nervous system, how to hold things differently, how to distract the brain, the left brain, while you give it different information. It's all starting to feel safer. It's all attuning you, ever more, ever more, ever more, to fully embody the presence of your own soul in human form, acting, doing, working, playing, engaging in your life, however your life is, but doing it from this place. It's beyond, it's a bit beyond comprehension. But as you start to feel little instances of synchronicities of, like Darla was talking about, that she was just had the inspiration to check on this brain thing that she's been struggling with, and kaboom, the answer was there. Once you have that partnership, you don't have to figure it out so much. Just pay attention, notice what you notice, and breathe and be willing to play. Again, reiterating the difference between work and play. We don't work anymore. Or we're redefining it, but we're not going to use that until it is fully redefined. And maybe we don't even need the work. The work is the left brain concept, and we're just going to let that left brain be quiet and pay attention. Go sit down and listen, because you're going to learn some new ways of being that are going to work much better for you. And so making it feel safe, making it feel comfortable, as we are totally reprogramming everything about us. Everything about us. As you walk this path, you will be astounded. As you keep saying yes to your soul, and as you keep feeling the goodies, you're encouraged to say, yes, I want more. We talked about that earlier. I want more because it feels so good. This is that infant just gulping down the milk of life, filling itself. This is the milk, the nourishment of life that we have been seeking ever since humans have been humans on the planet. And we are doing it. We are doing it. We are bringing more light into ourselves just as we live our lives. It's that simple. We don't need anything else but what's in front of our faces in the moment, dealing with whatever is showing up in your life, whether it's physical pain, whether it's your work, your relationship, just yourself, questions that you have. It's sacred curriculum, and it's sacred. We tend to dismiss it and demonize it and say it's junk. Sometimes when people heal, they want to get rid of the junk. Nothing is junk. It's sacred and it's holy, because look what it has cost you to walk through it. Look where it has brought you. It might have been ugly, painful, embarrassing, caused you a lot of grief, but it's sacred. And I think that the higher realms appreciate the sacredness of our struggles and our pain way more than we allow ourselves to. So our higher self then is a very kind mentor and guide. In fact, I get the sense, and you might too, as you feel into this, that your higher self really has fun playing. Because it's like, oh, wow, let's create together. Because gone are the days now where you need a harsh taskmaster. That's gone. You don't need a harsh taskmaster unless you feel you want one. Remember that. So if things are tough and you feel like you need to like learn a lesson and struggle through and be strong, that's you in your old programming that's decided that. As Richard Bartlett says in Matrix Energetics, he says that the universe gives us process as long as we feel we need process, because the change actually happens instantly. We can step into miracle anytime we decide to. Because anytime actually you decide to change, it has already been completed in the energetic realm. And it's coming into your awareness, kind of like that trickle-down effect. So for Darla and what you were discussing about the brain trauma, the universe had already, with all the stuff that you've done, all the work that you've done, all the studying, all the ceremony, all of that you've done, it was completed, but it got completed in this reality, in your intellect, into your awareness. So it was like finally released completely now. So that's how it works. It's already done. All of us, every single one of us is already perfectly enlightened, perfectly whole. And our job now is to simply connect up with that energy and draw it into our brain, our nervous system, our body, into our field, little by little, and start enjoying it. And the more we enjoy it, the more it feels good, the more encouraged we are to seek more. It's already done. We're already whole and perfect. Isn't that nice? So we're not used to not being judged. I mean, that's kind of like the left brain saying, who does that? What the heck is that? Nobody does that. That can't be true. So we've got to, kind of step lightly and practice ways of trusting and opening. Gradually saying, okay, honey, it's all right. It's all right. Here you go. Don't freak out. Just, chill. So I wanted to share this analogy that came to me. Gosh, it's been quite a number of years now, and I don't remember what exactly triggered it. If it was, me feeling alone or whatever, but all of a sudden I was having one of my little visiony things, and I was observing myself like as an astronaut, doing one of those things that astronauts do. They put on a bigger suit and they go outside and they've got the tether and they're doing stuff. I don't know what they do out there, but they do stuff. And so it was like floating around in this clunky suit out in nothingness or everythingness, whatever, out in space with some kind of a job to do. And it's perfectly still, except maybe you can hear your breathing. There's nobody there, nothing there. There's nothing there but you. In all existence, there's nothing and nobody there but you. And then you realize, then the vision switched to this bank of computers with all these nerdy-looking guys with glasses and skinny black ties and white shirts, all sitting in front of computer monitors. Every one of them was completely 100% focused on me. They were watching everything, monitoring everything. And it was such an awareness of, and an analogy for being human, that we put on these clunky suits called bodies, and we come down here to do stuff, work on stuff. And we feel like we're totally alone trying to figure it out ourselves. But in truth, all of creation, vast realms of higher awarenesses are observing and focused completely on us and our well-being and our success. Our success. So it was very, very powerful. And I had sort of slipped away because it's been a while, but I watched Hidden Figures, the movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. And I think that kind of triggered it back in my mind again. So just kind of feel into that. You're not alone. You're not making it up. It's not futile. And you are destined to succeed and to be a success. So we'll be talking later about what you noticed in the meditation. And I know some of us are more attuned to sensing in our bodies than others. And we've talked about that being fine, because it's a matter of attuning more into the body and out of the head. Being able to feel safe enough and waking up out of our numbed out state. Because some of us have suppressed so much for so long out of the difficulty of our path, that waking up to feel and to sense in the body and to allow ourselves to just feel those sensations flowing through us is frightening to the left brain and still protecting. But that's fine. Just imagine it and picture it, and pretty soon you will start to soften and open as you become more trusting and more comfortable with trust. So do not force anything. Nothing. Nothing. So as you connect and open, you will begin to have a very palpable sense of connection and presence. You may have felt some of that tonight. By listening to this again and finding ways to shorten it and just imagine it, remember it, imagine it, bring it in, feeling you've got your friend here. You're not alone. It's an amazing, amazing experience to be with someone who never judges and who's always with you. You can begin then to play with it, to start having an ongoing dialogue, just for the heck of it, just for fun. Just chat about stuff. I remember when I started to use my pendulum, I was working with it. I was sitting on the edge of the bed asking, right before I was just getting ready to go to bed, and I had some questions, and it was so funny because I called in my higher self, and it was like my higher self was answering my questions, and we were just like chatting. It was very, very cool. So I suggest that you just kind of play around, have silly conversations, and your higher self will speak to you in your voice. It'll be as much of a snark and a wise ass as you want to be, as you are. You don't have to be formal. Just be real. Just play. Be a little outrageous and play. Because that's teaching you that it's safe and it's free, and by golly, it's fun. And you can feel the amusement of your higher self, just kind of enjoying this freedom for it to sense and feel expression. Because they say that in the higher realms, they don't experience except through us. So as we start experiencing and connecting in that experience, it's not like they have to be silent or they're not being listened to, and they just have to work behind the scenes to make sure we're okay and things are set up for us to get to the next level, they actually get to talk. And it's really very cool. So just play and practice, and feel, see if you don't even feel like your higher self is actually laughing, not at you, but laughing out of the joy. So that'll help you get used to feeling open and safe. We talked about being honest last time or the time before. You know what? This pisses me off. I'm tired. I don't understand this. I'm tired of this. What the heck? And then you'll hear something like, I know, we know. And you'll get some answers and some comfort. Start demanding things too. You know what? I need something now. And you'll get it. You really will. So start testing. The universe is so good. They're so happy when we start waking up and stepping into the fullness, the maturity of our souls as humans, not after we die, but in this now, acting it out. It's fun for them. So let's make it even more fun. No more suffering, no more struggle. When we attribute struggle and lessons to spirit, we are actually spiritualizing the voice of our wounded parents and teachers. We spiritualize that, and we think it's God, and it's not. It's not. It's the old paradigm cloaked in spiritual language. So remember that. We are moving into a time and a space where we are being taught and allowed and guided to learn through pleasure instead of pain. Pleasure increases life force. Pain decreases it. Yes, some of us here now are going through physical pain. And that is a journey, but I know it's not the sentence. And I know it's temporary in some way. I'm not being punished. It's not a lesson. It's me clearing something. It's me learning to move through and to hold it in a different way, to distinguish between pain and suffering. Can I feel this pain and yet find and choose to find, even for a split second, can I find that place way inside that is joy and peace? And not hold on to the story, the struggle, like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? My life is over. All of that. Choosing to drop in. So it's a developing relationship, just like any. You're a little formal at first. You meet somebody for coffee, go on your first date, you're kind of formal. And then you start becoming more open. So using the practices that we've been doing, breathing, stepping out of judgment. After that, meditation in the beginning, which I actually was not planning on doing, by the way. It just came through. Stepping out of judgment of ourselves. You see how ego-based that judgment is. Taking a breath and dropping down deeper and inviting your higher self to dialogue with you. Show me. Show me. I'm nervous about this. I don't understand it. Show me how to do this. Let the relationship develop. Start learning and realizing and reprogramming the brain and nervous system and DNA in a new way that says it's safe to open up. I don't have to be guarded, and I don't have to be on my best behavior because I see through it anyway. So relax. Forget it. So cultivating the connection. We're retraining the brain, the nervous system, first about the nature of connection, which we've been doing. We've been working on the big concepts of reality, including what we really are. And all of that, again, as I think I said last week, is to give us a bigger picture, get us out of the smallness of our story and see that there's more. And so once you do that, you're actually looking at yourself and reality with the eyes and the awareness of your higher self. So when you begin to have these concepts, you start looking at yourself with, or your higher self is using your eyes, your brain, your intellect to observe you. It's like being in a breath journey. Now, I think all but 2 of you have done a journey. But in the journey, you go into a waking dream state. It's like a waking dream state through the breath, through the music, through moving your body. You start slipping into this state where you are observing yourself. You observe yourself perhaps having dreamlike images. You observe yourself moving and you're not even aware, you're not choosing to move. Your body just wants to move. And you're aware and watching energies and sensations and emotions just simply rise up and move through and out. So life becomes a little like that. And the place of observing is the intelligence and the intellect and the consciousness of your higher self living in your brain, using your body, which is an amazing, magical thing. And as it does so, we are upgraded, we are healed, we are transformed. That's why we can reverse aging codes. That's why we can change what seems to be unchangeable and set in concrete. When we get to that place of allowing, to that degree, we see, why not? Let's try it. We have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose by constantly reversing the timeline, the quantum timeline, and accessing that 40-year-old that I am and saying, come closer. Let's sync up here. Let's sync up. Why not? Why not? Play with it. So it's not about fixing separation, because there is no separation. We are functionally differentiated from each other, but it's about retraining our brain and nervous system to comprehend and perceive differently. So just breathe into that and send a wave of comfort and awareness into your brain. You may, oh, I just got a little headache, because it changes the brain chemistry. It changes the DNA. It changes the cerebral spinal fluid. It changes the nerves in the body. It changes the cellular structure, everything. So, ways of connecting, of course, breathing and imagining the connection, whether you feel it or not. It'll be interesting to see if you just pretend and make it a discipline. Imagine that you are connected. Imagine the lines of light going through you and expanding and coming down around you. Just picture it in your head. Imagine it. Fire up the right brain to imagine. And then one day you'll be amazed that kabam, it'll show up and you'll feel it. That's exactly what happened to me. I've been saying this invocation, just doing it, declaring it, intending it. And then one day my higher self showed up and knocked me for a loop. I was like, oh my God, I'm home. This is it. I'm done. I mean, I'm full. I'm here. It's all here. And it was unbelievable. Every need, every desire was instantly fulfilled in my heart. It was complete. It was just this completion that happened. So just keep plugging away until you open. I guarantee you, it is worth it. So cultivate noticing in your body, whether we can get rid of the word feel, if that's a problem for you. Just imagine and notice. If you had an itch on your stomach, you'd notice your stomach. If you had heart palpitations, you'd notice your heart, and you'd be looking in there. You'd be checking in to see what was going on. If you had something going on in your knee, you could bring your attention there. That's what I'm talking about. Just bring your attention to your heart and focus on it and breathe. You don't have to make a big hoo-ha out of it. Just imagine and pull it through until one day it changes. So feeling, I do want to make this distinction. A lot of times the word feel and the word feelings, oh, I got my feelings hurt. Well, that use of the word feel and feelings is being used interchangeably with emotion. And emotion is up here. Sadness is up here. Now, you may feel it in your body, but mostly we take it up here. And, oh, I'm depressed, and there's story, and there's thought, and my feelings. And if you say somebody is being emotional, they're acting out. They're acting out. And maybe the body is, with the crying and the wailing and gnashing of teeth and the stomping and the this, but it's coming from here. See if you can feel into that. See if you notice what I mean. Okay. Then there is feeling in the body, like I talked about. Sensing in the body. It's not thinking at all. It's just dropping down from that neutral, quiet place inside. You just look and breathe and relax. And notice what your body is saying. Notice what shows up in your heart. Notice what shows up in the gut. So when something happens, when something comes your way, dropping out of the head and the story and the feelings and just putting it down here. Where is this hitting me? Is it hitting me at all? Ooh, that didn't feel good. Where didn't it feel good? It didn't feel good in my heart. So as you stay down there, you actually get information that you can take back to the brain. But resist popping the sensation or the trigger back up into here and making a story. Oh my God, this. Shut up. Just shut up and breathe. Notice that you're doing that. Notice that you're doing that. And it's again, what do I need to know about it? You can feel the coolness going into your head as it cools down that intent. You can feel the difference because the eyebrows go up and there's tension up here and there's tension here as the stories come out and this and that. Bring the eyebrows down. Let the brain get heavy and bring it down. Then ask your higher self, show me what I need to know about this. How can we do this differently? What's here for me? What do I need to know? So another thing, here's a good question. Remember this, write it down sometime. It's a lovely, soft, open question when it's worded this way. And you present it to your higher self, to the universe, the whole universe. If I were to see or hear or notice something useful right now, what might that be? So there's a casualness about it. There's a casualness. There's a pulling back a little bit into your neutrality, into your center. And then just what might show up. And then whatever shows up, go with it. even if it's ridiculous. I was practicing once. I'm not sure what this was because it's been a long time. But we were practicing in the class. It's like, okay, whatever shows up, work with it. It's information. And Ronald McDonald showed up, of all things. But there's something about a clown. There was something about a disguise. There was something about looking happy all the time with this grin painted on its face, acting wild. That was relevant. That was relevant. So don't discount anything. Don't discount anything. If it doesn't make sense to you, ask for more clarification. Okay, thank you. I'll receive that. Can you give me a little more clarification on that, please? Not sure how it fits. Dialogue. But remember the casualness and the openness. Like, I need to know. What do I need to know? What would be useful? What would be helpful? Easy, 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 easy. So here's another one. Surrender. Ooh. So if you have any residues of religiosity that are still floating around in your being somewhere, that's just such a big one. We're surrendering to the will of God, which always meant that it was painful and hard and totally the opposite of what anything that we would like. Surrender into whatever. Surrender out of yourself into usually the will of somebody else. It's give in. And boy, that's a toughie. But I've learned that it's very much like unplugging and going to neutral. It's surrendering into myself. So it's dropping into a deeper place within me, under the layers, like coming out of this layer into this layer, dropping into the deeper layers of my being so that I can get underneath and get quieter and open more. It's surrendering to what I've learned and experienced is letting go of a position on something. So it's again, the wave particle thing, which we're going to be talking about in the next 5 weeks, all that stuff. But it's unplugging your judgment of something. You know, when it's a surrender into what is, it's not surrendering into the circumstances. It's surrendering out of your perception of them, what it means. Because our fear, our anger, our frustration, our depression, our sadness, that's all patterning and programming left over from what we've seen others experience, from all the conditioning that's gone on with ourselves and mass consciousness that we're part of. And so when you choose to drop in and drop down, it's like saying, I don't have all the answers. The answer I do seem to come up with isn't working for me anymore. And I surrender into the fact that there's some other way to hold this, to look at it, to view it. So you're surrendering into your higher self. The way we surrendered into feeling that delicious cocoon, like the softest down of being held. That's what we're surrendering into. Letting your body go limp, letting your brain go quiet, and letting your higher self show you another way to view, to hold, to deal with whatever life circumstance is showing up. It's that curriculum again, and it's an opportunity to undo the programming that causes the triggering in the first place. Whether you know what it is or not, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So being willing to drop in and let go. There's a groundlessness. Pema Chodron, the Buddhist teacher, talks about that our minds search for solid ground. When the solid ground is the old programming in the left brain. that somehow gives us a sense that we know we got this under control. Well, no, because we're being taken to a new place where that stuff doesn't work anymore. So dropping in and surrendering into what feels like groundlessness. And I went through a phase of that last year at the beginning of the year. I mean, literally, there was a moment when something had happened, something triggered, and I literally felt I was not standing on anything. I looked at my feet to see if there was anything down there. That's how real it was in my body. It was crazy. So letting yourself drop in as far as you can. It's going to be different, but just the intent and the sensation of aligning and running that energy down into the core of the earth and being willing to say, okay, I'm stepping down from what I think I know, from how I've always reacted to this, so that I can learn a different way. Drop into the unknowing and breathe. You'll have to breathe through a little bit of layers as you drop. You know, if you're kind of like they would drop people into caves, and you know, you're going down through the layers of the earth and you see different things around you. You'll feel, but just keep breathing and trusting. That's why it's so important to have the understanding and the knowledge and a memory of how good it feels to be held, to be loved, to be able to breathe this light in. That gives you the courage to be able to tackle these tougher things. We can't tackle everything until we've reached a certain point of consciousness to get to the tough stuff. Beginners can't do that. You do a little bit in the beginning. It's like layers. It's like layers. So don't push anything. Drop in as far as you are able to drop. And know that that's perfect. Your higher self says it's fine. We have all eternity. There is no time. There is no space. It's all now. And you are guaranteed success because that's who and what you are. It's already done. It's just your experience of it. And today, this is where we go. Good for you for going here. Now breathe and feel how good it feels to have gone to here. Good. So, let's see here. Notice, oh, I know, I wanted to share another thing. Oh my gosh. Another thing that came up, these little analogy things. I grew up on the Jersey Shore, and we used to go to the beach all the time, like every day in the summertime. Boy, I missed that. Oof. But the waves were a little rough. I never really learned to, I mean, I can swim, but I didn't ever like learn to swim like laps. I find it very boring. But we used to play in the surf. And, you know, we'd body surf, we'd, you know, boogie board, and we just kind of play in the waves and dive under the waves. And sometimes, after we'd had a hurricane, whoo-wee, it was pretty wild and woolly. And so if there were big breakers, we would be diving under the waves. And if it was a particularly rough, big wave, you would just dive as deep as you could, and you would grab sand. And maybe come up with a bathing suit full of sand too, because you're in a mouthful, because you are down in it. And so sometimes we're grabbing sand. Well, it doesn't hold on real well. And that's somehow, that's kind of how we are. You feel it dissolve through your fingers, but you feel the wave pass over you. So there are times when you've got to dive deep. Dive deep. And grab sand, if that's what it takes, and then come up and go, wow, whew, that was amazing. So that was just another little picture I just felt like bringing in. So when you drop into these layers, you may find different layers opening up. And I was actually doing this the other night. was having a particularly uncomfortable night, and I was just on the couch working with the material, and I stopped. I just put my head back here, and I just let myself feel what was moving in my body. Feel physical sensations, sort of pain throbbing, nerves, different things. But then it turned into emotions. And I thought, just let it run. Let's see where this goes. And all kinds of things showed up. It was almost, I couldn't, it wasn't like I could see a movie in front of my eyes, but I could sort of sense this stuff passing in front of my eyes, just washing through. Anger, fear, frustration, sadness, depression, hopelessness, all this stuff came up. And I almost feel like that's been locked in my hip for a long time. And funny, this crisis in it or whatever has shown up just as I began this webinar, just as I began stepping out in a greater way to speak the things that I've worked with. And it's shown up in a big way. And so allowing that to run through me like a tornado, just ripping through. And I just laid there with my head back right here. And I just felt it just kind of move. It was almost like the emotions were rippling. And I thought, you know what? Let's milk this sucker for all it's worth. Let's just get it done. Wherever there is this stuff hiding in my being, in my field, any lifetime, any reality, any of my bodies, any parallel universe or other dimension, let's get this thing through. Let it rip. Bring it on. It was amazing. It was an amazing, amazing thing. So as you drop in, you don't know what's going to show up. But having that first awareness of the relationship with your soul and feeling the love gives you the courage to be able to do that. Because if you didn't have that, you couldn't go there. It would destroy you, destroy me. So how kind the universe is to give us these, to give us this, and to know that I was held, I was perfectly safe while I let that go, while I let it show up and run through, and all the scenarios and all the emotions. I was crazy. It was way out of proportion, I thought, anyway, but there it was. So it's very powerful and very wonderful. And I was not alone doing it. I was aware, I was watching myself. I was in the place of observing like a breath journey. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So I want to just say, because we're getting out of time, I'm just going on and on. Work on noticing when you're in your head, like when you get busy and you've got a project and you're going, notice the physical sensation when you are working real hard at something and thinking. So I notice, like I'm out ahead of my energy, that I can almost feel my head being like I've got a big suction cup pulling my head, that, the eyebrows go up and you're here. And it's almost like, whoa, my energy's back here. And I've even pictured it like, kind of leaning against the door jamb going, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo, I'm back here. You want to come back and hook up? Because I'm pushing ahead. And so you pull back, soften, and feel the merging. Feel yourself merge and center. Makes such a huge difference. You'll find that your work gets done more quickly, more easily. Answers come, things fall into place, obstacles disappear. Amazing synchronicities happen when you are in partnership and allow your partner to carry some of the load and to show you some stuff. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And then finally, Bumps in the road are not a sign of doing something wrong. They're actually a sign of doing something right. So when you hit a snag, you hit a roadblock, you think, oh my God, I've lost it. I'm disconnected. I mean, it's like, you know, you get into that icky place. That is not a setback. There is actually no such thing as a setback. It is a breaking through to a new level. The higher we go and raise our vibration, the more the lower vibrations that are still working in us, and sometimes it actually has its origin in another dimensional aspect of us, but we're doing the soul work here and now for all of it. And so as you process, as you get that greater connection and awareness, these lower vibrations come up to be cleared. Because now you have some tools to work with them. They're not going to totally throw you off the path. They're not going to destroy you. So when you get into a place where you think, oh, wow, I'm separated, I've really lost it, all that stuff, know that you're being promoted. So, you know, you've aced second grade and you feel like, wow, I passed second grade. I can add and subtract now. Woo-hoo! Then you go to third grade and they start multiplying and you think, I don't know how to do this. It's okay. You're supposed to. You're not supposed to. It's okay. So just again, breathe, call in your teacher, your mentor, and your tutor to say, okay, how do we handle this? How do I look at this? How do I hold this? What have I learned? What did I learn in first and second grade that I can apply here? And breathe and be kind. So, wow, that was big. So I think that we've gone kind of a long ways, but it was pretty good, especially taking the time to do that wonderful connection and attunement. So I'm going to open the mics now so that you can share. And if you forget, especially Darla, if you're, you're here, and I don't know who else is here. There's a hand raise thing under Manage Participants at the bottom of the screen. If you click on that, next to your name is a little hand icon, and you can click on that. Or you can just unmute yourself and speak. Let's see, unmute. Oh, okay. I'm unmuting you.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I know. I kind of.
But no, it's good. I find during these things, either I can check in and I'm there and everything's great and I get it, or my brain's like, oh, wow. Okay, wait. No, okay, I don't understand. Okay, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
And I can't, and I feel dopey and heavy.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just a matter of processing, and it's so powerful. It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so the heavy, dopey part is a little bit of overload in your brain. So breathe into your brain. Breathe cool air into your brain. And drop the buzziness of the brain down into the heart. And know that you all are receiving this because of the way we began and the intent we set up. You're all receiving this on an energetic level, and it will begin to integrate and make sense. I think that I would really like to be able to type up some of this stuff and get it to you. You will be able, of course, to listen to the talk again. But maybe type up some of this. Yeah, this has been a learning process for me, as you all are very well aware, to give you some of this, because this is the 5th class, and this is actually how do we put all this stuff into practice? How do we do it? So I wanted to give you specific things first of all, how to hold it, a mindset, and then from that mindset, doing specific things in specific circumstances. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And I'll see if I can't. Next week, I've got more time. So maybe I'll be able to, write some things up and get them to you so you have a sheet to go to. Anybody else? Don't be shy.
I think we're all processing. I'm serious.
Did anybody feel stuff when we did the attunement in the beginning?
You know, I did. And I really felt a strong pressure in the left side of my brain, which made me aware that the left side of my brain was really grabbing on tight.
Good.
And the more I felt that, the more I became frustrated with the fact that it was grabbing on tight. So it became like this distracting sort of struggle. Until I just like, okay, fine, I'm not going to struggle with you. I'm just going to let you, if you think you need it, that's fine. Go ahead, grab. And then I could feel the whole transition over to the right side. But the more I focus on trying to pull to the right side, the more the left side pulled back.
Right.
And so the sooner I can get out of that struggle, the better I am. But it was very real tonight, was the left side struggle for me.
That is so cool. You see how alive it all becomes. That you palpably felt your brain struggling with this information or resisting it or whatever. I mean, that is so cool that we can do that. It really is.
There's been a lot, I've been talking to Meredith, there's been a lot going on in my brain this week. I mean, that was a really strong left side pressure. And then yet when I told her I needed some assistance from her on Saturday when I had some heart space and I had a pretty big clearing and just ended up the whole thing, I ended up with a very large headache in the right side of my brain, just out of nowhere, which then she informed me was, the whole reprogramming.
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, your brain was actually resetting. Your brain chemistry was shifting. It's creating new neural networks to process differently, to hold things differently. So yeah. So whatever, notice that in your head, you'll feel it, but just keep sending reassurance. It's okay. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. And just keep breathing and dropping down. Let it relax. Just keep letting it slump down. Okay. Anybody else? Did anybody else notice anything while they were, during this time?
Hi, Meredith. It's Carol.
Hey.
Hi. I did notice like a feeling of like pressure in my head, and then I felt kind of like tingling like down my arms, like a buzzing kind of sensation. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Good. That's actually releasing old energy. So yeah, you were releasing some things out.
Good. Good.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's very cool. That's resetting. We're resetting brain and nervous system here. It's wonderful.
That's very cool. Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, I'll try to get some things written for you because this was rich and big. I recognize that. And we have a week off next week. And then we start again on April 2nd with the journey into the quantum. So everything is building. So after cultivating and awakening to the relationship with your higher self, then together you will be going back. So think about the Scrooge journey, you know, where it's whatever, it's higher self, something rather, takes Scrooge on a journey to see different scenarios and possibilities. So we're going to go back into and start picking apart some of the ideas and principles to give you more tools to use to justify to your left brain why you have permission to change reality. Because your left brain's going to say, who the hell do you think you are? You know, this is all, everybody knows it's this. It's always been this. It's always going to be this. This is the way it is. Well, not so much. So that's where we're going to play for the next 5 weeks. So yeah, it should be really interesting because I haven't put it together yet. And so we're going to look at our chakras. We're going to look at the concept of resonance, how we resonate with things or don't. So yeah, it's going to be wild and woolly yet again. So if nobody has anything else to share, I will, of course, keep you updated with emails and Facebook stuff on the retreats, signing up. I don't know how many of you are planning to sign up. I know Darla already has, Lee has. Carol and Pam are coming, and we'll see who we go from there. I haven't gotten publicity out much about it yet. I just haven't been able to get to it. So we may be a cozier group, but that's fine because it's a great experience. So anyway, I'll let y'all go and have a good rest of the night and a good 2 weeks, I guess. So let's stay in touch over Facebook, and maybe I'll do a little Facebook Live thing, or any of you can too, because it's kind of fun to play with. So have a good night, everybody.
Right. Thanks, Mom. That was awesome. Thanks. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Meredith. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, Meredith.
Good night.